Reports are out today that Nottingham Forest are indeed open now to selling Brennan Johnson to keep themselves within FFP. But do you believe it? Welcome to your Forest transfer news. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time of day you're watching this. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. In today's video, we will be talking and telling you guys all about the latest Brennan Johnson developments. Are Forest flying too close to the sun when it comes to FFP? And will they be forced into this sale? We've got an update on Pablo Maya, and a Forest messed this one up and left it too late for the forgotten Brazilian wonder kid. On top of that, Danilo speaks out about his time at Nottingham Forest and the player's return. Before we get started, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And a big, huge announcement for you guys right now. We have got official confirmation of the FFTV barbecue. It will be happening on Sunday, the 6th of August from 3 p.m. at the Trent Nav in Nottingham. Doors will open at 3 p.m. We will have a barbecue. We will have a live podcast. We will have fan interaction with you guys, another podcast, maybe a few special guests as well, and just a fun day where we can celebrate that beach day that we all exploded for after the Arsenal match. So if you can make it, please go and book your tickets now. The link is in the description. We'll pin them in the comments and in the live premiere as well. Tickets for the early bird special will only be £5. There is already a barbecue there. It's all under health and safety regulations. It's all kosher. It's all kosher. And thank you so much to Trent Nav for taking the time to set everything up for us. And we can't wait to see that. It's going to be such a fun day. So go grab your tickets. The link's in the description. Can't wait for me and the rest of the FFTV boys to get to see you guys in 3D. Anyway, let's get on with the news and let's start with Brennan. Okay, so a few things to update you on in regards to Jono. There's been a couple of parallel running stories, if you like, about his future and what's currently happening with him. And there's two clear clubs that are front runners in wanting to get his signature, that being Aston Villa and Brentford. Now, there's also been some what I would call BS links into the Spanish league. No real club's name, just loosely thrown around there. Honestly, it's starting to sound like some agent talk, maybe from Jono's side, I don't know. But there's a lot of links floating around. But the big one that's coming out today is the link, and this is a story coming from Birmingham, obviously where Aston Villa are, and they're saying, and let me just read this to you, Nottingham Forest are claimed to be open to selling Brennan Johnson if they're offered a fee in and around the region of 50 million. Now, we know previously that fee was around 60 million, and now it seems to be slowly worming its way down to 50. What's interesting is this line here. It's now claimed that it will take an offer of around 50 million for Forest to consider selling Johnson. It is also claimed that the Reds are open to selling in order to ensure they stay within the spending rules. Spending rules obviously being FFP. And in a way, this story does make a little bit of sense to me, because we aren't seeing the 30 odd million players being linked with Forest that we did last year. Well, we are, to be honest, there's been a lot of players linked, but a lot of these to me feel like paper talk rather than actual club on club discussions or club with agent, etc. talks. And we haven't seen many bids. We've seen definitely a bid for Henderson. We've seen talks of a bid for Sace, the defender. We've seen a couple of bids on goalkeepers, but all these bids have been low, apart from the Henderson one, have been in for a few million. So there must be some truth in this. And as I mentioned before, we are just putting together an FFP video to really get under the numbers at Nottingham Forest. And hopefully you guys will find that interesting. One will explain the rules of FFP, and we'll talk to you about where we think Forest sit within it. So bear with us, that is coming soon on the channel. But it's not just Villa that are starting to sniff around. Brentford are coming out and saying they're actually very confident that they will be able to land Brennan Johnson this window. I still don't understand that one, honestly, and I mean it with no respect due. Brentford is just a shitty looking club. Crappy stadium, the BTEC stadium, no real fans. They're probably like, what, the fourth smallest club in West London, not even in the whole of London. And they don't have an atmosphere or anything like that. I mean, you can literally, I got a mate who has a flat outside of the Brentford ground. You can watch the whole match from those flats. It's weird. Anyway, so I can't see that one being realistic. As confident as they are, I don't think, one, they've got the funds to do it, and two, they haven't got the pulling power. Forest is a bigger club than Brentford, full stop. Now, when it comes to Villa, I've said it all along, Villa do worry me because Villa do have European football this season. I don't think Villa are a bigger club than Forest. They never will be. Let me know when you win it back-to-back, Villa. I know you're claiming you're one star, but do it back-to-back. But they do have European football this coming season, and that could be really attractive to Jono. Now, on top of that, you have to rate their manager, Emery. Look how he turned their club around last season from a relegation battle into Europe. It's one of the best manager stories from last season in the Premier League, in my opinion. And he does develop youth. He's very tactically astute. He's experienced in playing European football as well. So Villa could find themselves doing quite well in the Europa League next season. And I could see him developing Jono quite well. And obviously, as I've mentioned before, look, it's not a million miles away to get your ass from Nottingham to Aston Villa. Yes, it's a bit of a traffic jam as you approach their area, but still, it's doable. It's doable, especially in the cars that Jono has. So Villa does worry me. But what's more important now and more worrying than Jono staying or going is this whole talk of staying within financial fair play regulations. Now, this may just be something that the Villa camp are throwing around to make it seem, or to get us to panic, or to get the club to panic, or whatever. But it is something that is worrying me. And once we got the video together, I guess we can have a discussion with you guys and see what you all think about it. I trust, though, that Marinakis and his hierarchy have done their due diligence and they are within FFP. And let's be honest, FFP is just a 3-letter phrase. It really is. Look how Chelsea are taking the mick out of it. Look at Man City. Look at Everton. All these other clubs as well that are claiming, that have had FFP issues or are close, to flying to the sun. There's always loopholes around it. So even if Forest are breaching FFP or about to breach FFP, I don't think we should worry that much about it because, yeah, you take a little points deduction or you get a transfer window embargo on you for a season or whatever, and then you move on. But there's always lawyers, and Marinakis probably got an army of them as well. And I don't think we need to worry about it, but we'll get into all the ins and outs of that in an upcoming video. But this Jono one, I'm starting to feel like there is legs behind it. And I honestly do think if 50 mil came in, Forest would definitely seriously consider it. And the real question here is, what does Jono want to do? Because no one's heard from him on it. No reporter has put a mic under his nose and said, what are you saying? You staying? You going? What's in your mind here? The thing is, even if a mic was to be put under his nose, obviously he has to come out and say he loves Forest, he's staying here, etc. Because that's what's expected to be said, and you wouldn't begrudge him saying that. So it's got to be, if he does it, it's got to be a kind of definitive blanket statement saying, I ain't going anywhere. But I still do worry, guys. I do worry about this one. How are you feeling about it? Do you think it's going to happen? It's gone quiet for a few days, which was good. But now that the players are back, now that the international stuff is done, strap in. All right, let's move on to Pablo Maya, one of the players that Forest have been chasing for well over 6 months now. And a player who's been nicknamed Baby Kaka, this, that, and the other. He is quality. And Forest were in talks heavily last January. And there was earlier links in this window, as we brought to you a couple of weeks ago. The problem is he's gone from strength to strength. And so has his football skills, and so has his price tag. This is a player that initially probably would have cost Forest £6 to £8 million if they'd done the deal maybe in January. Maybe had they not brought Chris Wood or Shelvey and gone with the little Brazilian wonder kid. Anyway, the problem here is that because he's got better, because his profile has risen, there's now talks that they want 20 million for him. And honestly, I don't see us doing it. I think that's too far a stretch now to take another Danilo-style risk, even though I didn't think Danilo had any risk involved in it. To have Forest priced themselves out of the Maya market just by sitting on their hands or sitting on the Chris Woods, I don't know. I really want him to come to Forest. I think 20 mil's still probably just okay, but it does frustrate me that we made deals like IU, Wood, and Shelby when we could have been doing the South American model that we were hinting at doing by bringing in Danilo, Scarpina, etc. It just feels to me like Maya would have been a perfect fit at the time, but it is what it is. Look, we're still Premier League. You could argue that we survived, and yeah, if his price has gone up by 10 to 12 million, so what? That's money we wouldn't have had if we'd been relegated. But the problem is Forest are no longer the only ones interested in him. There are a few other Premier League clubs, some European clubs as well. This could even turn into a bidding war because his profile has risen so highly. I do really like him. I do really rate him. He plays as a CDM, CM style player. He's exactly what we need. But will we get him? I don't know. Like at the moment, I'm starting to feel like there's a bit of a scattergun approach again with the recruitment. Some days you sit there and you see the reports where a CDM's been linked, a left winger's been linked, a striker's been linked, and a goalkeeper, for example, has been linked. And you can see some of the logic. And then some days like today, you get the paper talk ones where you're seeing, Mbappe being linked and Messi and all this stuff. And it's just kids in a sweet shop scenario. So I do worry about the strategy at the moment. And I would like to see business done quicker. We've been saying it for weeks. Forest are the ones who came out and said it. Get them in early. Get them in for pre-season. What are we now? What's the date today? The 5th. We're 11 days away. No, in fact, less than that. Bloody hell, man. From playing Notts County. The players are back in. They came back in yesterday. They all look in good spirits. But are the new players going to be in time? And are we even going to have a goalkeeper? But Maya, at the moment, the story on this is his price is now set to be in and around 20 mil. Okay, so let's move on. As I just mentioned there, the players came back on Monday. And they're back into full training mode. And we saw loads of pictures released. And I can confirm, we've seen on video now, that Omar Richards has 2 functioning legs. The prosthetic leg surgery was a complete success, and he looks like he's walking around. Now, do we know how fit he is? Of course we don't. Do we know if that prosthetic leg could fall off again? Who knows? But at the moment, as things stand, unless our eyes are deceiving us, Omar Richards is officially back to being 2-legged. On top of that, you saw the likes of Juan coming into the training session. There's Scarpina was back. Felipe was back with a new buzz cut. Ladies, do you prefer the man bun or not? Men, do you prefer the man bun or not? Let me know in the comments down below. But overall, the squad is coming back together, and there were questions asked of Danilo. And Danilo has done what seems to be a quick interview where he was talking about how life was for him at Nottingham Forest and how he did find it difficult and slightly frustrating to begin with to settle in at Forest. He wanted to play clearly, and he felt that by playing, he was able to work his way into the squad, into the league, and get a better feel for it. Guess what? That's what we were saying as well, Danilo. Get you straight in, chuck you into the deep end, and we knew you would swim. So he's settled, and he's also acting cocky and confident, and I goddamn love it. He's expecting a big season from himself this coming season. As am I, Danilo, as am I, and we'll be backing you throughout the season, hopefully, for that one. But it's good to see he's confident and in good spirits and eager to progress with Nottingham Forest. All the talks about him leaving, I think, are all paper talk and all BS. As we mentioned to you on a previous video, there was talks that Forest may have to get rid of him in January. Can't see that happening myself. But overall, the mood in the camp looks good. They were all hugging and kissing and what have you. A couple were on the treatment table, so hopefully they're okay. But remember, the first game is Notts County on the 14th. So watch out for that. Honestly, guys, apart from that, it's a bit of a slow day for Forest news. Couple of stories here. Let's hope this Brennan Johnson story dies off a bit. But having said that, we did sell Brennan Johnson yesterday on Football Manager for 57 million. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. I was worried about FFP myself. If you want to check that out, we'll be playing some Football Manager tonight about 9:30ish on the gaming channel. Make sure you're subscribed there. And a quick reminder, the FFTV barbecue is officially set for the 6th of August. The doors will open at 3 p.m. at the Trent Nav in Nottingham. Tickets will be up and available for sale in the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll get them posted for you guys as soon as we have them. And hurry up and get those early bird tickets because they'll only be a £5, nice and cheap. All right, guys, that brings you up to date. We'll catch you on the next video. Hopefully some more exciting news. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And come on, you Reds.